fit and alert. Yes. Let's ask everybody to stand up. Good. Mm-hmm. Let's stand up. And as you're standing up, I want you to reflect back at yesterday. The kind of conversations that we were having since morning. The presentations from the iconers. Yes. We had 3 thematic areas. We had the policy team. We also had the policy team. Then the first
capacity
one was
skills.
Capacity skills team.
And the third one was the resource center guys, yeah?
Yes, the resource centers.
And a couple of issues were coming up. We were seeing lots of figures, lots of data. I mean, we were seeing graphs. We were seeing percentages. Some of us, the moment we cleared, we reached Form 2, we dropped mathematics and said, to hell. Mm-hmm. And when we came back here, I was like, what is that percentage all about? And with so many numbers. And I want you to look back and ask yourself, what are some of the key highlights from yesterday's conversations, from the commitments that we were making? What stood out for you? What do you want to pursue further as an individual, as an organization? And I know you're ready with the mic down there, yes, and you're going to walk around. Let's take from each and every person before our panelists are all here, because some of them are walked out. Let's get 2-3 people from each table. Let them share with us at least 2 things that stood out from yesterday's engagement, yesterday's conversations. And then we move forward from there.
So I'll start with my 2 very new friends. I have the newest friends around.
Are you planning to travel abroad? My brother, don't leave me.
Few things actually just came to mind. One was the number of registered businesses in 1 hour, which I think was 5. Did I get right? But it was just really, it's sticky. This morning I woke up with that. The other groups had some biggies too. The financial commitment that 20 youth-led organizations were ready to make to advance the Kisumu youth policy, that was big. I don't remember the exact number of shillings, but it was a big number, and that they were shaving. Thank you. They're very nicely done. And the image for the resource center, where there were, I think, 11 resource centers that we were able to visit, and only 5 had internet. 3 really sticky numbers for me this morning.
Oh, thank you very much, Ivan. I hope I got your name right this time.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sue. He took a couple of mine, but something that stood out, you want numbers. We're talking numbers? Okay. The graph that did show only 5 with internet also showed a very low number that are disability, persons with disability friendly. And that is a number I hope we can change.
Thank you very much. And if you've answered, that's your ticket for sitting.
Yes.
So this was a test. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have an idea, you're going to stand the entire day. So let's pick one from each person so that we don't finish the key takeaways, and so that we also avoid repetition.
Thank you. Something else that stood out from yesterday's presentation is the low percentage of youths who have the information about the digital system in terms of their registration of businesses or even access to other services, government services.
Thank you very much. Another person?
So for me, what stood out was the percentage of youth that needs business support at the grassroots level. The statistics say that it's 90%. So for me, as an organization, I'm seeing an opportunity to have programs or come up with programs that support such kind of populations. But the question is, what skills? Because they want business support. Exactly what?
We're going to take note of that. What skills? So I'm onto this table with Eric.
Yes,
I'll begin with you.
You can sit down.
I want you to sit.
And your ticket to sit.
Thank you. I think one thing that also stood out for me was the accessibility to the resource centers available, but most of them lacking in the resources needed to have them operational. So the youths cannot access things like internet, enough computers. So those are areas for even partners like us to come up and support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Another spokesperson for this table.
For me, was there 100% of youth who support both physical and virtual modes of communication in policy matters.
Thank you very much. This table earns its ticket to sit down.
Maybe you can take it from the front now.
Good. So it's if your table has no spokesperson, if you don't talk, all of you will stand up. Okay. No, we let Anna speak. She has the mic. Take one for the team, Anna.
No, sure. There were so many. I think for me, the number of 7% of young people who had even attempted to access or use access finance digitally was really interesting and so low. So, and then somebody in our breakout session wanted to dig more into that, and I agree. I think that's really interesting and concerning. So.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Can have a seat.
Yeah, my name remains Cynthia Ode. So my takeaway yesterday was all about policy and the importance of youth participating in policy making, implementation. So I suggest that we should use youth-friendly platforms to maybe help in disseminating the information. For instance, not every youth will go participate in a public participation. We are like, no, we don't. Okay, fine, we go, but not all of us will go to a public participation. So maybe there is a policy that needs to be implemented, or they need youth contribution, but not every youth will be there. So when they post these things maybe on social media platform, on Twitter or X, known as X, Facebook account, I think every youth, most of the youths are there, TikToks, yeah. So we can grab this information from these platforms. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're going the TikTok way. Yay.
Maybe yes. You can have one for this room.
Thank you very much. What stood out for me yesterday is the aspect of the girl child trying to disregard themselves not to be youths. So it's like a stigma and it needs to be addressed. Thank you.
The table can sit.
Okay,
it's okay.
Thank you.
You've earned the ticket for the whole table.
What I took away from yesterday was something that was mentioned about women and how they're not aware of the Youth Enterprise Fund, or they don't go for it actually. So we think we need to at least also sensitize women more to go for the funds and make it a safe space for women to go for it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, what stood out for me is the low number of youths who are ready to take up finances due to one reason or the other, because of the stringent measures from the banks. And as an organization, we are ready to partner so that we can come up with a way on which we can sensitize the youths on the available opportunities that are the friendly loans that are in the government sector.
Good morning. My name is Anthony. So from my take of yesterday is that the youths of our region have found it hard to register their business because the process of registration of business is really tiresome and entails a lot of documentation. Thank you.
Good morning. My takeaway is going to the county government of Kisumu. His Excellency Mr. Governor is doing amazing job to do much of the contribution and even bringing development in the county of Kisumu. So my contribution from yesterday presentation, we realized that the national library is still having a gap whereby youth have to pay 20 shilling on a daily basis. At the same time, this youth doesn't have a job. In a nutshell, this is bringing more problems, especially those youth who are not employed. And even if you go there, there is still lack of internet. So I'm looking forward to the county government to see if they can allocate money so that youth cannot pay 20 shilling when they are going to read, and also to invest in network and bringing data to the museum. Thank you in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. So powerful. You have someone already? Good.
Good morning. My name is Kevin. What stood out for me yesterday is that out of the 8 sub-counties we have in Kisumu County, only 3 sub-counties were able to register a good number of youths taking up information and opportunities that exist within the youth platform. So my take is a lot of information needs to be done. A lot needs to be done in terms of information cascading so that we leverage all youth in the county for equal opportunities.
Thank you. You guys, you can just sit down.
Okay, thank you. Resource centers are not resource centers. That is what I learned yesterday. Because the government invested a lot in the mortar, in the construction, but they are not resource center to young people. So to the government, we must make resource center to be resource centers. Number 2 is about, I talked about it yesterday, about the 7% of young people. Only 7% of young people are trying to apply for grants, meaning that we are remaining with 93% who are not applying, meaning that they don't have information, they're ignorant about it, or they don't have any knowledge. Way forward, we must now come up with initiative to strengthen young people on 1, access to information, especially for resources. Number 2, ensuring that they have skills and knowledge on fundraising or application, and doing mentorship for them. Then lastly is about localization agenda. According to the Charter for Change, we must work in the community. The data shows categorically that 90% of young people want things to happen in the locality. So meaning that we must embrace and now do advocacy also with different institutions to ensure that resources are going to the young people at the locality. Thank you.
Thank you, you guys. You can just sit. Now let's get an opportunity.
Hello, good morning to everyone. So yesterday I got inspired by everyone. It was just amazing to get to know you, to get to know your findings. But also, I think the most important is the following actions that you are already planning. So my congratulations, my applauses for you, and all the best for today.
All right. From our end, I think one of the key things we picked is out of the 11 information or digital centers that were sampled by the team, only 1 was accessible to PWDs. That is our take home from yesterday.
Last but not least, what am I looking forward to today? So, this has been a journey of 3 years, collecting a lot of data, interesting research. The findings are solid. But then what next? What kind of partnerships are we going to establish? I sat in the advocacy team breakout room yesterday, and a lot of interesting ideas were already coming up. Some of the partners in the room were ready to collaborate, establish firm, actions that they can take after this. So I'm looking forward to hearing what we can actually do to make all this effort come together and be sustainable into the longer future. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe what are you looking forward to, or one key highlight you saw yesterday? Thank you.
Yes, what I saw yesterday that caught my attention was from the first presentation, where they were looking for the youths in terms of the records they keep, the financial statements. It means our youths, from the percentage that we saw, it means our youth still doesn't understand the financial statements, how to prepare their records. That is, in short, bookkeeping. Because you need to have a proper bookkeeping, the simple accounting process, so that you may be able to evaluate your entire business. Without that, then these financial institutions may not be able to analyze your data and even make an informed decision on giving you grants. So basically, you should know how to prepare your simple budget, moving to prepare your financial statements and have proper books of accounting so that you're able to be, an audit can be done to your farm. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Odundo. And I also had a key takeaway. Yes. And for me, it was quite inspiring to see that we have a checklist for a resource center. And then the big question that I'm asking myself is, how do we ensure that we can implement? You know, it's one thing coming up with a checklist, but it's another story actualizing this checklist and ensuring that all the resource centers are actually inclusive in terms of access and also having internet, as we put it. I don't know if you have anything or you have a way forward?
I'll have a way forward. What captured me the most was that word called icon. And I'm pretty sure when I'm sitting with Kanano, she always reminds me, remember it. And I'd want the acronym in terms of issue-based, collaborative network.
Thank you very much.
Really caught me. Wonderful.
Thank you very much, yes. And picking up from that, we want to talk about issues. And that's why we've been here since yesterday. And I can see the room is filled with swag. People are in hoodies. Some of us have been left out. It's okay.
We didn't get the memo.
I got the memo. That's why I came ready dressed like this, because I knew there was a hoodie I'll put on. Yesterday I couldn't put on a hoodie.
Okay, yeah, it looks like, we need hoodies. Do we have some to give away to
that aside, I'm very sure Iconas have left some for us, and I know Red Cross has a package for us, and we will receive something. So ladies and gentlemen, on to serious matters. I hope you still have your agenda in your hands. We want to dive straight into the conversation. Irene has posed a very good question. What skills? What next? It's one thing talking and talking, but actualizing this thing is what we are looking for. So we are about to invite our panelists. We want to have a discussion. So the panel discussion will revolve around the role of adult allies in youth, access to economic opportunities. Sylvia Kanano yesterday alluded to what adult allies are and how they've been walking the journey with the Iconas in terms of breaking down the intergenerational conversation, in terms of bringing everybody together and us accepting that young people have a different way of looking at things, and also the senior guys, the adult allies also look at things, issues around the youth in another lens. So we are here to just bring that all together and, break it down and have a common understanding. So, who are the adult allies? They are here. And who are the panelists? I can see. Can you all see the screen? We can't see the screen? Oh my goodness. Now you can. Great. Yesterday, Dalo taught us something. You don't just invite people to the stage like that, huh? You have to hype, you have to sell them. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our first speaker. Oh, she's excited. It's okay. She's admiring herself on that photo. So she is passionate, a passionate advocate for young women's and girls' empowerment, dedicated to breaking down barriers and fostering a world of equity and justice. She used to be an athlete. I don't know what happened along the way. She is a chorister. You can Google that. She is a chorister. Please Google that and you'll tell us the meaning. She loves dancing. She loves eating. But she does not love cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Benta Odhiambo from Young Women Christian Associations.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Next we have a gentleman who rejected his first job as a youth in 2008 because he was being paid 25,000 Kenyan shillings. He said, you know what? With my skills, with the expertise that I'm bringing, I am not worth that amount. I know my worth. And he walked away and decided to be a chef in his own kitchen back at home. He is a farmer and a die-hard Man U fan. Man U, hoye! Yay. And locally, he supports AFC Leopards, Ingwe. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for James Barrier, who is the county coordinator for Cooperative Development Program, Ecosystem and Social Inclusion. Makofi kwake as he comes to the podium. Barrier. Thank you very much, James. We have a lady who is a fitness fanatic. She talks to young people in the church to occupy the church leadership spaces. She is the best cook when it comes to chapatis. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here with us this morning. Let's put our hands together to Winnie Okoth. She's the Tinada, from Tinada. She's the Advocacy and Programs Coordinator for Disaster Risk Reduction. Makofi kwake. Wonderful. And we have a very interesting person here. This is someone who comes from the diplomacy background, but currently he is the Zero Malaria Ambassador. And he is the founder. Most of you don't know that together with his colleague, they founded the City Bite magazine, a magazine that focused on telling local people's stories. Ladies and gentlemen, he asked me to tell you guys that he is very, very single and ready to mingle. Put your hands together for Emmanuel Obanga from Youth Alive Kenya.
Very, very single.
And we have a man who is not new to our faces. He's a man who has worked with the Iconas from day one. And he opened his doors from the very moment that he was invited to be an adult ally. He's always been there to guide them, to mentor them, to inspire them to get it right. He likes sharing information over a drink and nyama choma. And most of you don't know that during his heydays, Orude was actually a performing artist back in the theaters. Yes, he was. He loves mentoring young people, like I said. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to George Orude. He is the Youth Directorate. Thank you very much, Mr. George. We appreciate your support. And now, to the man of the moment. He's even signaling the photographers, be ready. I'm about to take the stage. So, he also used to be a performing actor at the National Theatre. I'm sure most of you didn't know that. He has a background in engineering and law. Totally different from what he's practicing at the moment. He is really a good cook. Especially, he cooks the best ugali. Wow. Yes, now you know. When you have heart-to-heart conversations, you get to know some of these things. So ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, this is none other than Alex Ayub, who is the National Youth Program Manager, Kenya Red Cross, and he is going to be the moderator for this session. Thank you very much, Alex. I hand it over to you to take us through this conversation. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever been introduced until you wonder who is that coming in? Yeah? So some people got shocked in the first place when it got to their photos on the screen. But then now when the introduction even came, they were like, I think that's not me. Thank you so much, our MC. She's doing an amazing job, right? A round of applause for her. Yeah, so I'm just making sure that we have enough microphones for these amazing panelists that we have here today. I could use one extra microphone, probably just one more here. But yes, so my name is Alex Ayub, like I mentioned, but I'm super happy that you could have these great panelists join us today. And this is where the meat is. Yesterday, I think we started with seeing the animal, right? And today we are now delving into the meat to feast on what we've been talking about in a couple of days. And we'll be delving into the role of adult allies in these conversations. Most of you have been wondering, okay, you talked about we have youth-led organizations, youth-serving organizations. Yesterday, when Sylvia was speaking here, I think part of the things that she was able to raise to us were the key elements of the ICON model. And part of them actually, other than the fact that there is an aspect of implementation research, other than the fact that we also have the data summit as part of the key elements, one of the major key elements is the adult allies conversation. And this brings me back to Frank's story. Anyone remember Frank's story yesterday from Sylvia's presentation? Who was working in the Directorate of Sports? And one of the things that he was looking at is, how do I make sports sustainable for young people? Yes, I'm the one who is given this responsibility by government, but how do I work with young people to ensure that I create a sustainable environment for young people? And so this is basically what the adult allies conversation is all about. And in the space that you've been working, I think part of what you might not know is, as from the Kenya Red Cross side, we've been with the ICON participants for the last 1 year, but they were there since 2021. And one of the things that we've really been able to establish is the amazing model in which the ICON participants work. So they'll tell you they have the work together and work apart sessions. And so we come together, we're able to establish what are some of the key things that, like learning themes. What do we want to learn about certain thematic areas? Right now they're looking at work readiness. And at that time, they develop some goals, learning goals. And when they go to work apart, then they're able to work with the different entities, different stakeholders. And among them are the adult allies, some of them who we have here. But we also have on this particular panel some of the youth leaders who have been working specifically with these adult allies, and they'll be helping us understand what this is all about. So without really getting so much into what they're supposed to tell us, I'll just want to welcome them again and maybe just say hi, just say your name and say hi. I know your name is already up there, but we like to see whether we got the pronunciation right. Just like, hi, my name is Benza, and yep, nice to have you here.
Good morning. My name is Benta Biambo. I support programs at YWCA Kisumu branch.
Good morning. I'm James Mbaria, working for USAID CDPCC program in Nandi County, but formerly working for the USAID program here in Kisumu that was supported the youth on workforce development and placement on job. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Karibu sana.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Winnie Atieno Okoth. I work for Tinada Youth Action Africa as an advocacy officer. I also coordinate programs under disaster risk reduction and climate change. Thank you.
Karibu. Good morning. Karibu, Emmanuel. Good morning. Asante. Yeah. So maybe just starting from where George is. George, do you consider yourself an adult ally? Very obvious question, but quite interesting.
I think I'm extremely an adult ally.
Why? Why do you think you're an adult ally?
I've seen myself, even from where I work, I link with young people, I connect young people, I fight for their space, and also mentor them. I can tell you, sometime back, in county, you can be moved to a different department. Once upon a time, I was sacked Then I came back. So I refused to go to youth docket. Youth came and mobilized my CS and CEC, and I was petitioned to go back to youth docket. And that's how I got a third name. My name is George Orude. My full name is Hannington. Then they gave me Honey. So that's how I sail with young people, and that's how I interact. And one funny thing, since I came into the ICON platform, I've interacted with the young people, I've connected them to the youth platform, and actually they invite me to their programs. And in fact, even if they invite the governor, I'm a CEC, they insist I must be part and parcel of the work. So I believe.
No, really, just really thank you. I think just 4 words that you say, and this summarizes who an adult ally is. And guys, I am adult ally because I link young people, I connect young people, I fight for young people, and I mentor them. I don't know how close to that. Bwana James, do you consider yourself an adult ally?
Possibly, I could say I'm an adult ally. Basically, after turning out down my first job, because my value wasn't up to that particular amount that I was given, then I decided to jump into the airline as a public relations person, where I could also see the challenges that were there. Then, being a young person, we test and try to see where fits you best. Yes. I jumped into the banking session as a financial consultant, and I saw that one wasn't right for me. Then Obama came in with Yes Youth Can, and also, we have so many people who are products of Yes Youth Can around, including our CC. I was a mentor for them. So I worked for the Yes Youth Can program as a program manager for the entire lifetime of the Yes Youth Can program in Coast Nairobi, to make sure that youth have their spaces. When I see currently youth running up and down, fighting for their spaces, both in leadership, I'm a mentor to those people. Then came in the second follow-on program for the youth, Kenya Youth Employment and Skills Program. I became an advocate to make sure that youth gain skills. When you talk about the CBET programs in vocational training centers, we've developed so many programs, curriculums, to make sure that youth, if you don't get a white collar job, you can identify your hands. So James became a mentor there for the 5 years, and Research Triangle Institute International. Then came in the Empowered Youth program that just ended abruptly here in Kisumu. James is there as their coordinator, in charge of partnership, making sure that youth are connected. Made the government of Kisumu to make sure that they woke up very early in the morning to advocate for the youth of Kisumu, ensuring that spaces have been created for the youth of Kisumu. And that's how I earned myself as a place to represent USAID Education Department into the ICON program. And that's where I am now, trying to see that these youths, wherever they want to knock a door somewhere and they don't have the capacity, I tell them, I know someone there, we can do that. So that's how James is. And currently where I am, the program that I'm working for, again, I'm making sure that youth can identify their hands through agriculture, planting coffee, marketing coffee. They can rear dairy cows and join cooperatives so that they can have a living from agriculture, rather than knocking the doors of looking for white collar jobs. So that's how I can consider myself as an adult ally. Yeah, thank you.
So much, James. A round of applause for James. James, I'm just considering the first statements and the last ones that you finished with. You first rejected a job that was 25,000, and then you went into an airline. and then you went into banking. And then now I'm just looking at that trail, and then I'm realizing the last bit of the bit that you're finished with, young people need to get into agriculture. So I'm just trying to understand whether, do you feel like you felt the same thing? Just a side question, do you feel the same thing that maybe at that time when you were moving from banking to a relations officer, would you have done agriculture if agriculture presented itself?
Yeah, I could, because before I joined the university, yes, I was an agriculturalist. Currently, as we talk, I'm still in agriculture.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
A round of applause to Bwana James. So, is one adult ally who is not only connecting and linking and mentoring young people, including our CEC, but he's also showing by living as an example. Really appreciate that. Benta, how are you? Good. You've been an ICON participant. How many years now?
2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What has been your experience generally working with the adult allies? Have you worked with any adult ally? If you remember any specific engagement with them, what has been your experience working with them?
Well, in our ICON journey, during our implementation program of ICON, we have worked closely with the adult allies. And one thing that I've learned is that the adult allies have come to accept and appreciate that the adult allies are decision makers. That is one thing that I've learned. And another thing that I've also learned is that throughout the process of implementation, the adult allies have come in to engage with us, and they have shown us that even when we are implementing our project, it's not a matter of advocacy or activism, but it is a matter of mentorship, creating partnership and collaborations. Wow. Thank you.
Wow. Round of applause to Benza. That when you work with, when you're trying to solve community issues as a young person, it's not always about activism and advocacy, which is still an important component, but you can partner and collaborate with the decision makers, and that's one thing that Benja. Do you remember any time that an adult ally came through for you in something that you guys were trying to do, either as an individual or within the organization?
So I remember one very important thing. So we went to the county clerk to present our petition in Kisumu County, and unfortunately we didn't have contacts. And then we called Mr. Rude, who gave us a leeway to reach the county clerk of the Kisumu County Assembly.
And you reached the county?
Yes.
Makofi. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Really. I think those are some of the real examples that we are having, that it's working and they're here and they're going to support the young people. Bwana Emmanuel, you are also part of the ICON participants. For how long now?
For a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
What has been your experience just working with the adult allies? Any specific example you remember?
I think my experience working with adult allies in ICON has been an amazing. And the good thing is one of the adult allies is just sitting next to me. He has been very instrumental in shaping our work in relations to governance and leadership. And like my colleague Bent has said, many instances where we have always consulted in terms of what we want to do, who to approach, and he has been a guiding factor in our work. And that is not something we take for granted. So we've always seen them as a helping hand. They have always stretched their hand to help out where necessary.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I think stretching out their hands and helping out where necessary. And sometimes as young people, you'll acknowledge that the one thing that you always, you know what you need to do, you know how to go about it, but you just need that hand that's just going to tell you, keep going, and please, here is something you can grab on, right? And I think that is part of what Emmanuel's attestation has been. And Bwana Rude, you seem to have really helped. You're not just an ally, you're a friend of the young people. In fact, you're one of us. Makofi ya Bwana Rude. No, thank you. Thank you. This is quite amazing. Winnie, your experience been working with adult allies generally, and how long have you been an ICON participant for?
Yes, my experience working with adult allies has been the perception of decision makers to youths are generally decision makers or adult allies, as we call them, are really friends to young people in Kisumu County. They have provided the mentorship, they provided the support, and sometimes they also help us in advocating for needs of young people, even at the capacity which they can. And again, the allies have really been helpful. Sometimes we want to reach other allies and we do not have contacts, just like my colleagues have mentioned. They have really come in, especially Mr. Rude. He has been quite helpful. At any time we reach out to him, he readily receives our calls and provides the support as we require. So they have really been our allies.
Yeah. Which is, no, really, thank you, Winnie. Which is that one moment something happened and you said, oh, I thank God for adult allies.
Yes, actually, there have been many instances. Some have been mentioned by my colleagues, but also I remember when we were going to do some of the research at the resource centers, and we did not have readily contacts. And the name that readily came to our mind was Mr. Rudy, and true to our thought, we reached out to him and he dished out the contacts and we managed to do our research.
Wow, a round of applause to Winnie and on that. And that was that moment and you felt, no, I think, thank God for the adult allies.
True.
Maybe just jumping into Bwana Orude, I think one of the things that Winnie started with when she was speaking is that sometimes the perception of adults in the society about young people, either they are troublemakers, they're just there to try and use them. They usually say that young people have energy, time, but no money. And then as you grow older, you start having time, you start having money, something disappears. What disappears? Energy. So those are three things that never come together to any individual. But so the perception of young people, and that's what Winnie was saying, that sometimes there's a perception about young people before you start working with them. But when you start working with them, does that change? And do you feel like your perception about young people changed in any way on that context?
Thank you very much. I believe even seated here, I listened to our... I feel it was a eulogy. And I painfully listened to that. I didn't know anyway, but thank you for that. Let me tell you, we usually perceive young people negatively. And actually, we look at them as people who are now troublemakers. People who do not understand the future. They feel they are better than their parents. Even they can be, even they see it where you are without even experience. So at times the pathway is very challenging. So everybody from the decision making, they see youth as a troublemaker, somebody who cannot be inducted. They need somebody to approach, they need somebody to link them. So they didn't want to meet youth face to face because of radicalization, their manner of handling issues. There's a lack of decorum by then. So we have been negative. And actually I can mention that when they invited our leaders through me, this is a series, they'll ask me, who are they? Where are they? Is so and so in that meeting, because they have been marked. See, some of them have been marked and profiled as troublemakers. So wherever they are, the duty bearers take time to go and they can be dismissed. So initially when I started like that, we have seen a perception changing. And when they invite our seniors, they will come because the space has changed, even the approach. Initially it was radicalization, activism, agitative propaganda and all those. But the space has changed in terms of networking, advocacy, and collaboration. And now, from the realization that they need to have meaningful engagement, that was also moved to meaningful engagement and meaningful conversation. So I've seen young people turning tables by inviting duty bearers to their spaces, and there's increased dialogue. This one has changed our paradigm thinking. And actually you can find so many now collaborating in our departments. according to their thematic areas and their strength. And I've seen increased participation, recognition, because young people have moved a different path, and I've realized that it's not the best way. They have to adopt different approaches in terms of life. So I believe young people, the way we see it, from where we see it, we recognize them, we value them because of changed strategy. And initially, if you have not interacted with young people, you might be having a negative thinking about young people. But if you approach and interact and we share, then you'll realize that young people are very important in our development processes.
A round of applause to Bwana George. You know, when he started and saying that the initial perception was that young people are activists, young people are troublemakers, they're coming to destroy, attack. But then when you start working with young people, some key words that he was mentioning, there is room for dialogue, there is room for meaningful participation, meaningful engagement, they are collaborative, and young people are important people. Aren't you important? Do you think we're important? Exactly. And you know, Bwana George, one of the things that they used to say is that long time ago, when you'll see, when young people will see elders in a certain path, they will avoid that path because elders are standing somewhere there. Nowadays, they say the elders, when they see young people standing on a path, they avoid that path. They might be attacked. So I think it's good that the perception is changing, especially positively for the people in Kisumu, and that's the biggest lesson. Bwana James, has that been your same experience? Do you think that what has been your perception about young people before you started working with them? And now, is there something, and how has that changed?
Mr. Ayub, I started working when I was still a youth. Mm-hmm. And I started working with the youth when I was still a youth.
Wow.
Yes.
One of us, for us.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I resonate well with all these things and how youth work out. Mm-hmm. So perceptionally is that the youth have been considered to be rigid, people who don't take in instructions, mm-hmm. The drug barons, the drug addicts.
Wow.
So when you come about and you're like, these are youth congregating somewhere, they think they are radicalizing themselves, mm-hmm. against the society. They are not ready to learn. Mm-hmm. But in the nutshell is that this youth that you think that they can't learn, mm-hmm. they are going to school. They are being sent to school to learn. Yeah. So you wonder when you see
you're sending youth to school to learn, but you think they can't learn.
They can't learn. Yeah. Then another thing is that what makes youth again, the perception is that they can't identify their hands. This youth, if taught well, if well mentored, mm-hmm. they get to learn better and innovate more on whatever you've been told.
Yes.
And that is what needs to be done. Another thing is that the youths, the community perceives them as they are the leaders of tomorrow. And the community forgets that if you raise somebody and teach him or mentor him in leadership, he becomes a better leader tomorrow or even today.
Today.
You can see whatever is happening today in our republic. Mm-hmm. When we've already made all our noises and we could not have an avenue of reaching the president to make a decision, a hasty decision, mm-hmm. the youth came in with the technology and they forced something to happen.
Yes.
And mark you, by Thursday next week, some of those clauses will be dropped. Not because somebody, the CEO, Eric is CEO. Do you know Eric? Eric is there. The CEO was very passionate, saying that this eco levy we can, if we introduce here, all factories are going to be closed. The other day, the president said we will be importing milk from Uganda and eggs from Uganda. What did the youth say? No, we don't want milk from Uganda. We don't want eggs from Uganda. Lower the cost of production in Kenya. What has the president done? During the PG, the youth, because of the youth, a tax has also been raised. So it's a tax. But those ones produced locally, yes. No, there's no tax. So the youth, as you talk to them, work together with them. You tend to learn how they want. You collaborate with them. They help you to innovate methods on how to undertake these particular issues, and they come out. So for us here, under the Excel program, we work closely with the youth. We come with our issues. They tell us we can work here. We can do like this. Then we see which is the best possible way to come out with a better solution, rather than coming with a radicalized mind, and they come with a radicalized mind, and two radicalized minds cannot have a solution. It needs a place where we can have an agreement and look for a solution that will help the community. Thank you.
Wow. A round of applause to Bwana James. Didn't you just love what the young people did to this country? Are you happy about what the young people did? Are you proud of them? Someone is saying we are also going. No. A round of applause to all the young people in Kenya who are making change. Yes. And that they're coming with very innovative ways of making sure that they communicate and make sure that they are heard, including refreshment breaks during Mandamano, which is really good. Benta, the adult allies have said that their perceptions about young people have changed, that we sometimes are rigid, we are thought to be troublemakers, drug users and abusers, people who cannot engage in dialogue. In fact, people can't even learn and can't listen. But then part of it is that that is changing and the narrative is changing. Do you think same thing has been happening for you in your experience working with the adult allies? Did you have a perception about them? And now that you've been working with them, Bwana James, Orude, Eric, and many others who are in this room and outside, are their perceptions changing about them?
I want to be very honest.
Yes.
Before joining ICON, I could not walk into a government office without having connection, without being connected to that person.
Yeah.
And when I joined ICON, I was asking myself a question. Yes, we are going to work with the adult allies. Where are we going to get these adult allies? And then I was just sitting down and asking myself, are we going to write appointment emails? Are we going to do calls, prior calls before visiting them? And then I came to learn that reaching out to the adult allies changed, because one time we were doing our research, and then we just walked into an office in the county government, and the reception was quite overwhelming. And I was like, wow, so we don't need an appointment to go to the government offices.
Wow.
So since then, my perception has really changed. And working, the aspect of building relationship, good rapport with the adult allies, and also just learning their values, their interests, what do they believe in? And they have really helped us to implement our programs. Another thing that I came to learn is that since my perception changed, that they were very approachable and they were ready to support and help, I also understood that they really understand the interests of the community. And so it is so easy to work together with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Makofi yake. I think the two key things that you've mentioned, that there is a conversation on interest, and they understand the interests of the communities, and that when you approach them, then they're able to listen and collaborate with you. I think that's amazing. Winnie, was that the same perception you had? Do you think yours has changed, or it's been the same about these wonderful adult allies?
Alex, it has really changed. I have to say that it has changed because initially we saw decision allies or decision makers as people who are there to make decisions on behalf of youth. But after joining ICON, I have realized that allies really want to work with youth. They really want to work with us. But also as youth, ICON has positioned us to be able to be accessed by the adult allies. And allies, I've also observed that they to solutions that addresses major issues facing youth. They do not only impose the solutions on them, but they have come to appreciate youth as innovative, and also their ideas are also taken into consideration they do not want to work alone. That's also something I've come to realize. Adult allies really want to work with youth. They really want to mentor. They really want to support in any situation or whenever we reach out to them. So I have to say that my perception has increasingly become more positive. I recall some times back when I attended some of the community engagements that involve decision makers and the community. And at that time, it wasn't that good because I felt like the decision makers were here at the front and then the youth and the community were there down. And there was that kind of bridge. But they have, right now, after interacting with them, I realized that the bridge is not so wide.
Yeah.
They can easily cross over, and they are also ready to bring youth on board.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's exactly what the ICON approach that you're using is about. I mean, Winnie is saying that she once attended a forum and young people were the ones seated where you're saying, and they were the adults seated here today. But look at what Youth Excel program has just done. Where are the young people? Where are the adult allies? Where are the conversations happening? A round of applause to the Youth Excel program. I think we are bridging the gaps and we are making it happen and show that it's possible for young people to sit together with the adult allies and have meaningful conversations and engagements. Emmanuel, how has your experience been? Especially the perception bit of it.
Just like my two colleagues have mentioned, I'll be very frank. Before joining ICON, and even in other spaces, we will perceive adult allies are people with the already informed opinion about young people. And this I will mention in response to accessing opportunities. Sometimes you'll go to an interview, but already you believe that someone has been given that job, and you as a young person, you're just going there as a formality.
Yeah.
So that they will say they conducted interviews. So we will fear even going for some jobs.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, you might go to an interview and you see one of your interviewees, a colleague, is greeting the people who are interviewing. And
The panel.
Say, yes.
They already know people in that office.
Yes, they're already mentioning names and they're
And you don't even know the soldier at the gate.
And you have nobody. Yeah, so you you wonder, am I really going to get this thing? Yeah. So our perception was biased because we felt that these people do not want us.
Yeah.
And that is what now created the intergenerational gap. We feel it is them versus us. So we were not feeling apart.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I joined ICON, this perception has really and tremendously changed. And I think one of the key components of ICON is the intergenerational collaboration with adult allies. And I can attest that right now, it is very hard for you to go to the office of the governor without an appointment letter, or you've not booked an appointment. But nowadays, through an adult ally like Mr. Jojo Rude, you could walk to some of these offices and just say, that is my visitor. It didn't used to happen before. So it is an experience that we are really applauding and saying, right now, young people do not see adult allies as, I'll use this term, we used to say gatekeepers. Like I would want to stand up, but they keep pinning me down.
Yes.
But now I see them as friends and allies.
Wow. A round of applause to that. I mean, as a young person, like you're talking about, you walk into an interview and then the other interviewees already know people. They're even being served tea and they're shown where water is. And you had a very difficult time with the soldier at the gate to enter. So I think, and that perception has really changed. Maybe, Emmanuel, just following up on that, what do you think is the importance of this intergenerational collaboration? I think you mentioned it. What do you think it's very, very important?
For me, I think the importance of intergenerational collaboration is bridging knowledge and skills. Passing skills from the adult allies, which involves mentorship, collaboration, and amplifying voices. It makes us to feel like we are one people. By us working in our different spaces, we are able to be mentored to do the right things, and the skills, even them when they are exiting, they are happy that they have left someone.
Yeah.
And I will use a practical example of our political space. You've seen that if I am a famous politician.
Yes.
That's
an example.
Let me use
true?
Mr. Urude.
Okay.
I'll say Mr. Urude is a famous politician.
Yes.
And I'm the upcoming one.
Yes.
And he's about to retire.
Yes.
But he's afraid that if I come earlier before he has
His
declared
retirement
he's retiring,
time. Yes.
I might not be able, I might be a threat.
Yes.
But now what does he do? He knows that youths are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of now.
Now,
today.
not even today, now.
Yes,
okay.
now. We are the leaders of now. Yeah. And him as an adult ally, he will then mentor me. He will show me corners. This is how to do. This is what you need to do in terms of conflict resolution. So when he exits the scene, he will even be a proud mentor that I finally mentored someone. And that is what intergenerational collaboration is doing, even in terms of icon work, where we were doing, we are testing assumptions and our lean experiments. The experience that I get from an adult ally will help me to be very intentional in my work, even in terms of what I want to do, what am I solving. And I think that is very important in terms of bridging the gap in terms of expertise, knowledge, and skills. Yeah.
Wow. So there is definitely an importance of this intergenerational collaboration. And I think that is quite an amazing conversation for us. Maybe I could just get one question from the audience who are listening to us here, either from the adult allies or to the our youth leaders here. Any person who thinks, I think this is something that I need to mention, or I need to ask any of these people. Can I see if anyone has a question first? Okay, I think there's one hand. Okay, I think that one can do that for now. And it's just quite amazing listening into how the Youth Excel program, courtesy of the support we're getting from the USAID team and IREX, just being able to lead this, create this space for us as well. The microphone is there already? Yes. Please introduce yourself and maybe the organization you present and the question you have. Is the microphone, sorry, it's off. Sorry, let's, can you? Yeah, I see the work the MC is doing. Yeah.
You're giving me exercise.
No, Kenyans, we are all marathon runners, so it comes by citizenship.
Yeah. Is it working now? Yeah. It's when the youth are given a chance to do what they can do. It's when you tell a youth you can do this. I was in another forum and a youth was saying the first time she didn't know how to even do a budget. She didn't know how to do loans, but she was tasked. She was told you can do this. And that's how she learned to do it. So when youths are given a chance, when you believe in youth, when you believe that even with youth inside the space, space will be enough for adults, for the youth, and even for young people. Yeah. And also, I'm impressed that we are fighting for not just ourselves, even the generation to come. When you fight for good policies now, they're not going to work for us, because in a short while we are exiting the youth bracket.
Space,
So the people who are coming after us are going to sit because we stood up and raised our voices to get what we want. Thank you.
Round of applause to Benna. And that's exactly what sustainability is all about. That's exactly what sustainability is about. Yes, I think there's a question, two there, and then to Kiongozi here.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Steve Misiga Oredo from Grassroots Transforming Network. I have a question to the panelists. The first question is to Mr. Jojo Rude, and before I ask him a question, I'd want to appreciate him for trying to bridge the gap between the young and the seniors. I call them the seniors. I'm just learning today that they are baptized as adult allies.
They're baptized, huh?
Yes. So, Mr. Rude, it is good that you're one of the adult allies, but we want more adult allies so that the perception about the youth in the society, like you said, can be changed, the conversation can proceed. So I would want to ask you, what are your efforts to engage other people or other seniors in your age bracket to ensure that they are also adult allies, so they change the perception about the young people in the society? I believe that you have friends that are your age mates or around the same age bracket that work in the Department of Finance, that works in the Department of Health, and in other departments in the county government.
Yeah, especially finance. Yeah.
Yes. The next question is probably to Benta and Winnie. You said that you aren't so sure of the reception at the county government level, but you got the reception good. But that is partly because of being part of the ICON. So what are the initiatives, or what are you doing to ensure that people or youth in the county that are not privileged to be part of the ICON also get that kind of reception? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think I can take one last question here from Mweshimiwa, and then I think my panelists have gotten the questions to them. Yeah. Mweshimiwa.
Thank you. My name is Honorable James Omolo, MCA, West Nyakach. I really want to thank the forum, and mine is not a question. There is very huge space for the youth, and I like the idea of those who are mentoring them so that they can realize these spaces, both economically, even politically. In the spaces you have right now as youths, you have not utilized it as it should be. Fora, you are able to capture that there is more that you should do that is really needed from you. Take, for example, I vied as an MCA at 28. I was a youth. And I managed to go to the county assembly then in 2013. And here I am. So if I didn't dare do what I should have done in the political space then, I wouldn't be an MCA. So even you, dare any space you see around. And I like it yesterday, watching news yesterday, I think Citizen, I saw youths on TV daring politicians in this country that they should take all the spaces. Yes. And they are able to take it. You have the numbers. Yes. So I don't know what the youths are still waiting for in this country. Let us take that space. Some of us will exit even political space, but you are there to take it. Take it up front and do what you want to do with this country. It is your time, and the time is so ripe. And if you see it explode soon, it is going to explode. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. A round of applause. Thank you so much, Mweshimiwa. It's our time, and the time is ripe, and the time is now. Bwana Urud, I think there was a question for you. Maybe what is it that you're doing more for people in yours? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the question was right. Pick it from where Honorable has mentioned. In our spaces, we have identified some of the challenges that are facing young people. One of it is about leadership and governance. And this is where youth are shying away. We push them to be, then you find them electing adults. They'll choose to be bloggers of the adults.
Yes.
So this is an area, because if we talk about decision making,
yes,
we need them to go to assembly and change policies and make policies.
Yes.
If we can have 3/4 young people in the assembly,
yes,
I think we'll be having good service delivery even because they'll be giving oversight. Yes. And also legislating and making laws that are youth friendly and youth responsive. Now, I've been with our MCS, the 35 elected and the nominated ones. We have been creating, as part of our strategy, the correlations, because they have a youth in their offices. We have a youth at ward levels. we have come up with a strategy which is going to be implemented, that we are going to have a youth forum, but linking them to the office of the MCA and office of the ward admin, I'm a village admins, so that they can start learning from that point through giving services and also learning what the role. I know we have young people, if you ask them different between MCA, go to Nyakach deep, apart from this learned youth, you'll find the confusion.
Yeah.
So it's about changing the perception and also giving them information. And this will be civic education.
Yes.
The relationship between adults, ally, and the youth is civic.
Yes.
Information, civic enlightenment. So we need to increase civic education at village level so that we bring information connectivity. It's going to give relationship between the adult duty bearers and the community. Again, we have also adults who are not decision makers. We have our fathers, our elders. Key to our resources, the control resource and assets, which can also help young people.
Yes.
I was in a meeting at Kombewa where a father refused and said that he cannot give a daughter or a youth a title deed. To him, it will be sold in the next 24 hours.
Fears and risks.
So we refuse to empower young people by giving them our asset, which can also be productive. So the conversion between our community, our fathers, our seniors, both in the community and the young people, to access even farms, can also be given an asset at early stages so that it can also grow. It's also that conversation going on. Then in our policy, we realized that even participation was a challenge. That's how we came up with a participation policy, public participation policy, to ensure that youth is in any county government programs. After engagement, then it will be consulted. So there we can find senior people. So I'm thinking about development. But youth council. Actually, we have not done a youth council in Kisumu. We have not framed the youth in terms of how we need them to respond. It's an issue of a law. That's why we are coming up with a youth policy to give us a framework on how we can structure young people from county, sub-county, ward, and village. So that council can give us an automatic way and a legal position to negotiate our spaces and also be recognized, because one, we must ensure that youth is legally recognized. So that even if you are a department wanting to engage youth, you'll go through the council, then you'll be brought on the table. What you have done with my fellow Kalwacha is a state department youth director and also regional acting regional leader, director for youth in Kisumu. And also we have Leonard is there. We are in the same platform for young people. We call Kisumu County Youth. Kisumu County Youth Sector Working Group. So there we have state departments, we have county departments, we have youth-led organization, and this platform gives us a way of interactions and spaces. And finally, we identify areas for young people in terms of their needs. We have youth in health, education, governance, youth in sports, culture. So we have the formation and we link them to the departments. And the leadership department is CEC, CEOs, and directors, so that we can have sectoral formation and discussion and conversation. And that's how we had information in a great number. And now youth are also coming out to do public participation. The level has increased in terms of interactions. And then we also have learning training. We train our adults, we train our leaders on how they can do inclusion of youth and the majority.
Thank you so much, Bonorude. Maybe Winnie, just on behalf of the youth allies, youth leaders who are with us here on behalf of Manuel and also Benta, how can we work better? Just a word of a recommendation to the young people here, briefly. How do you think we can work better with the adult allies from your own experience, just briefly?
Yes, I think already adult allies have set the ground for working with youth. They have made it easy for youth to reach out to them and also engage in different areas. But I also want to urge us as youth, as we engage with adult allies, we need to remember the principle of mutual respect, and we also need to build relationships with the adult allies. One of the Probably we are received well at the county department offices because of the ICON project, but could be partially true or not. To ask our youth that we need to position ourselves to be able to be identified by adult allies.
Yeah.
And as we engage in different projects, community projects, and even when adult allies call for forums, let us engage, let us come out in numbers and engage and interact.
No.
But I also believe that addition by our policy team yesterday, they proposed that we need to have the Kisumu County youth policy.
Okay.
Once the policy becomes in place, then I think there will be deliberate strategies to engage youth in Kisumu County.
Thank you so much, Winnie. A round of applause to all our amazing panelists. I think we can keep the conversations going over tea break, and thank you so much. I think they are still available with us here. I see a lot of hands in the room. Please, we'll just have our tea, and let's keep the conversations going. Tafadhali. Poleni sana, but thank you so much. A round of applause again as we take the stage.
Thank you very much. Before we leave, we can stand up for a quick photo with the panelists. Thank you so much. So thank you very much. And before we break for tea, we have a very exciting session coming up next. But Alexa said, let's keep up with the conversation as we are serving tea. You know, you can ask those one-on-one questions and, get the answers that you're looking for. At the make sure that I hope today everybody carried their business cards. Did you? Did you? And you have, great. So let's break for tea. We commence in the next 20 minutes. Is that okay? 30 minutes. Yes, ICON participants with the media banner before we take our tea. So I know there are some cards on your tables. If you look at all your tables, you can see some cards. Can you see the cards? What are they written? What's on your table? What's on your table? Vocational training. So I'll let you know why we have those cards on your table and why this session is very, very important and interesting. So let's break for tea. Iconers, let's meet at the media banner. Thank you very much and see you in the next 30 minutes.
While Pilates, my bestie recommends.